Stanford gets to 11-1 and retains the number 2 team in the country after a win against a struggling Tennessee team, 77-70 in this one. Tennessee moves to 7-6. What I saw with this one, Steve, was Stanford looked pretty dang good. Haley Jones stepped up. We're starting to see her really do some big things for Stanford, something that we didn't really see in the other loss by them against South Carolina. She shot 50% from the field. That was some impressive things. I know there was a big article going around about Brink with foul trouble. She had 4 as well. So a lot of things to really question. However, Brink had 17 rebounds. Some pretty crazy stuff from those two. Jones and Brink, as long as they're on the court, they do fantastic things, and they get the 7-point win over the Lady Vols.
Yeah, Stanford, I don't want to say they've been laying low because, they've been playing some pretty competitive games all along there. But I think after that early season loss to South Carolina, I think they just needed to try to find themselves again and sort of just remember just exactly how good and how deep a basketball team this is. But you talked about Haley Jones. Really, a lot of the dialogue has really shifted to Cameron Brink. Yeah. As great as Haley Jones is, Cameron Brink, even with her issues with foul trouble, really has inserted herself as the go-to player in the clutch for the Lady Cardinal. I mean, that would be certainly the impression that I've taken away from that. And then on the Tennessee side, I think now Tennessee understands where they fit in the national puzzle, the national landscape. They're not going to be a top 5 or top 10 team this year. Doesn't mean that they won't do well in the SEC. Doesn't mean that they still can't perhaps make a tournament. But I think they understand, okay, as talented as we thought that we were, we are just not there yet. We just don't have it going on this year. So maybe they lower their expectations a bit and try to adapt to just doing the best they can in the SEC. I mean, really, it's Rickea Jackson and Short. I mean, Horton is pretty good, but it's really just those two night in, night out, and I just don't think that's going to be enough for them to go back up into the rankings.
No, I'm with you. I think it's going to take a very long time, if ever, we see them back in the top 25. I mean, when you are basically sub 500 before you hit conference play, that's an issue. And I know that they've played a pretty tough schedule. Don't get me wrong. The majority of their teams are, ranked teams or weren't ranked but are now ranked teams. For example, Gonzaga. So there is a lot of really things to take from their schedule. However, when they go to SEC play, it's not like it's going to slow down. It's not like it's going to change anything. You look at what we just saw. Obviously against Stanford as Pac-12, but South Carolina, number 1 team in the country. Florida's 11-1. There's a lot of really big name teams. Mississippi State is a good team that doesn't have a number next to their name, but they're 10-2. So there's a lot of really good names in the SEC that they're going to have some worries about. A 7-6 record is definitely nowhere where they wanted to be. You got to remember, at the beginning of the season, they were preseason ranked number 5, Steve. And we really found out right off the bat after that loss to Ohio State and then later on Indiana that they just weren't what we were expecting them to be. As for Stanford, you're right about Cameron Brink. I mean, she has 33 rebounds in the last 2 games. When you have, and then obviously the points are insane as well. She is becoming an all-around player. And I am really looking forward to seeing what is next for her, because I have a feeling we're going to be seeing her playing in the professional league as well. Not just Haley Jones, the one that we started off talking about all season and off season long, saying maybe she's a potential top 2, top 3 pick. I think Cameron Brink's making her way up there as a possible first rounder as well.
Oh yeah, and they have. I was surprised to see Hannah Jump played all 40 minutes. I mean, their key players are playing a lot more minutes, and then the players that I thought, like I had been touting Lauren Betts all through the preseason. She was arguably the number 1 recruit coming in this freshman class, and she's been used sparingly. And she hasn't played with much competence in the games that I have seen her play. But luckily, Stanford is deep enough. They don't need their star freshman to be a star right away, because they've got not only, Jones and Brink, but they've got, players like Chum. So Stanford, I don't think they really have a whole lot to worry about going
No.
into the Pac-12 schedule. I will say, you were talking about Mississippi State and you were talking about Florida and some other teams in the SEC.
Sure.
I would put LSU in there.
Oh, of course.
Based on the schedule they have played and the talent that is there in Tennessee, I would rather take the Lady Vols record as of right now and say they can do this or that in the SEC, as opposed to looking to Florida or looking to Mississippi State and saying, oh, they're going to be a major force in the SEC.
I like that. That's a good take. We'll see if that comes true moving forward as we get into conference play here. They got one game left against Wofford before they head into conference play on the 29th against Florida, and then it's all downhill from there. Alabama, that Mississippi State team we talked about. And we will see them in one more non-conference game towards the end of January. That's the We Back Pat invitational or challenge, or however, which one. I think it's an invitational, and that is against UConn. So it should be a really good one in itself, right? So that's something. See if really Tennessee can get it going in SEC play and see what they can do against UConn. But Stanford moves to 11-1. They hold that number 2 spot in the country. I believe that's really deserving after the only loss they have is an overtime loss to South Carolina. I'm going to stick with that until they prove me otherwise. That they're going to have a tough contest on Tuesday as they take on number 21 Creighton. Creighton has looked really good throughout this season as well. They're 8-2 in this one. Their losses go to St. John's, who's undefeated, and Arkansas. Arkansas is having a pretty decent year as well. All right, let us know your thoughts. Both those teams actually undefeated. So Creighton hasn't lost to a team that has a loss already. So something pretty interesting in itself. Let us know your thoughts in the comment description below. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. And thanks for watching. /U.